Hey course creators, right now you are probably trying to decide between the most popular course creating platforms, learning management systems out there, Kajabi, Teachable, and Thinkific, and trying to decide which one is best for you and your needs. And if that is you, you are definitely in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to share with you the pros and cons of each platform so you can decide which one is best for you. Hey friends, welcome to my channel. I am Ebony Evaughn, your favorite business coach in these internet streets. Welcome to Soulistas. This is my internet home where I help you to go from confused to the ethical, cash generating boss that we both know you are meant to be. In today's video, we are talking about course creation and the different LMSs, which is learning management systems that are out there that can help you to actually host your online courses. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the three most popular platforms that are out there. You have Kajabi, you have Teachable, and Thinkific. Now, there are other course creating platforms out there like Podia, there's CourseCraft, LearnDash, and I'm intentionally not mentioning those platforms in this video because in my own personal experience, I feel like they are better suited for entrepreneurs or businesses that don't focus solely on coaching programs or online courses. So if you have a lot of small mini courses that are low ticket offers, say like under $97, then those may be a good fit for you. But if you are building more comprehensive courses that are coaching programs that are 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and ongoing, you want to use a platform that is geared towards those comprehensive courses where you can have multiple different lessons, you can have multiple different modules, you can add PDFs, videos, and all of that in a user-friendly way. So that's why I'm focusing on the top three platforms: Kajabi, Teachable, and Thinkific. So let's go ahead and get into the pros and cons of each one. And I'm going to start with Kajabi. First things first is Kajabi is one of my favorite platforms out there. The reason why I love it is because it has a very sleek design. I love that you can have the content section. You can add announcements on the side. You can add like a instructor intro if you want to have like a meet your instructor. If you have different announcements that pop up. Let's say you have a 12-week coaching program and in week 3, you want to announce when you're having your live coaching session, or you want to have an area where they can submit their questions for upcoming live Q&A that you're having. You can add those pop-ups on the side panel so that whenever students log in, they actually see that content on the side. One thing that I love about Kajabi is Kajabi pretty much serves as an all-in-one platform. So not only can you do your course creation, you can also set it up like a website and have your sales pages, landing pages. You can use it for your email marketing and your entire sales funnel. And this is something that I haven't seen in any other course platform except for maybe 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢. And there is a specific reason why I am not including 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢 in this video, but we'll talk about that at a later point, okay? Another pro when it comes to Kajabi is that it is very customizable. So you can customize your course design, like I mentioned before, with adding the different announcements and tabs and notifications on the side. And you can also customize the branding. So you can really make Kajabi look your own, which is a limitation when it comes to some of the other platforms that we're going to talk about in this video. Now, although I think Kajabi is amazing, there are a couple of cons that you do need to consider if you're thinking about using Kajabi. And of course, the main one is the price. Especially if you were just getting started, Kajabi can be very costly and expensive if you aren't generating a lot of sales for your course, or if you're just starting out and you're trying to build your course in the process. but you don't have any clients yet, it can get very costly. And in addition to the cost, this can also increase your costs. But another con and disadvantage of Kajabi is, unlike the other platforms that are fairly easy to use, Kajabi does have a bit of a learning curve. It can be hard to learn how to navigate the back end as well as the front end for your students. And so if you are not someone who's very tech savvy, you may actually end up spending additional money to hire someone to build out your Kajabi course for you, to set up your landing page and your sales funnel in Kajabi if you can't figure it out on your own, or if you don't have the time to figure out how to use all the things and all the bells and whistles that Kajabi has to offer. But other than that, I think Kajabi is an amazing course hosting platform. At one point, I was thinking about switching from Teachable, is what I use for my own courses, and I was thinking about switching from Teachable to Kajabi. And the reason why I didn't is because Teachable actually upgraded their platform, and so I decided to stay. And I have a whole video about that, and I will put it up in the cards above if you want to check that out, because there's also additional features that Teachable released at the same time. But with that being said, let's move on to number 2, which is going to be the Teachable course platform. And I'm going to share some pros and cons and why it is my preferred course hosting platform. So first things first, when it comes to Teachable, probably one of the best pros for Teachable is the fact that it is very user friendly. It is easy to use, not only for you as the course creator, the instructor who is creating the courses behind the scene. It's very easy to add videos, add PDFs, to arrange your lessons and modules and all of that. It's very easy to set up a course inside of the Teachable platform. But as a student, as a user, it is very friendly and easy to navigate as well. Your students should not get confused about where to access certain things or how to play videos. It is very user friendly. And so honestly, I actually switched from Thinkific to Teachable back in, I want to say, the summer of 2018. I switched to Teachable, and one of the main reasons why I personally switched from Thinkific to Teachable was because I love how the user experience was. So one thing for me, I'm pretty tech savvy, so even if the back end was harder to set up, which it's not, I wouldn't mind inconveniencing myself a little bit just so that my students can have a better user experience. And so for me, at the time I was using Thinkific, and Thinkific only had it to where when you create lessons, you have like your media in a lesson, and it's like you can add a video, and then if you want to add like a PDF or a worksheet that goes with that video, you had to create a separate lesson so that you can actually add the PDF. In addition, another pro for Teachable is very similar to Kajabi. You can have a lot of customization. So you can set up your own theme. You can add your own branding, your own logo, so that when people go to your Teachable school, it reflects your business branding. It has the same branding as your website or that you use on your social media. Everything can be cohesive because you're able to customize the actual look of your course platform. Another thing that I love and I consider to be a pro when it comes to Teachable is the fact that for your students, you're able to add in accountability. And what I mean by this is, as students progress throughout your course, through your program, you can actually integrate quizzes where they have to take a quiz before they can go to the next lesson, just to show that they are learning what it is that you're teaching them. You can also add certificates, so when people finish your program, you can actually give them a certificate. I know a lot of people that actually have graduations and graduation ceremonies for their students when they actually graduate from their course or their coaching program. And that's one thing that I love about Teachable, is that they actually get that certificate. And there's tons of other integrations that you can add in as well to hold your students accountable and also track their progress. And this can be helpful also as a coach. You know, one thing that I hate is that people to always talk about how the completion rate for courses and coaching programs, at one point it was like 34%. Some people say 30. I've even seen it as low as 20%. And for me, that's a problem. If people are paying you money to get a specific result, like, it's not always the student. Yes, people start things and they don't finish, but it's your responsibility as a coach to help your students complete your program. So one thing I love about Teachable is you can actually track progress. And so if you notice that no one is completing your program, you can look at the analytics and see, like, people always stop in module 3. People are always dropping off when they get to this lesson. And then you can say, okay, let me go do some research and some digging. Maybe I need to change something about this lesson or something about this module so that people can keep moving forward. Another pro when it comes to Teachable is Teachable actually has their own processing system. I believe it's called Teachable Payments or something like that. And I don't actually use it. I just use Stripe. But it is an option where you could use Teachable Payments and you could get your payments directly in the platform. Say if you don't want to connect to PayPal or Stripe, or those payment processors are not available in your country or your region, you could just use Teachable Payments and still be able to take student payments. Another pro about Teachable, and this is a secret that I tell my clients all the time when they want to test out Teachable, and they're like, well, they only have payment plans. Well, yes, if you go to the pricing page on Teachable, at least at the time of creating this video, you know, it will say, okay, there's 3 options. You have the starter, I think professional and pro plan, or they may have changed the names, but that's what it used to be called. And then it's like, I only have those 3 options. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you will see a link that says test Teachable for free, and you can actually set up your first course and get started for free, $99, just to see how it goes. Now, there are limitations. I think you can only have 1 course and a certain number of students, but at least that allows you to start making money and to validate and test your course before you start paying for all the things. All right, so even though I love Teachable, I am a Teachable affiliate, I do want to be transparent about some of the limitations that Teachable does have. And so I've mentioned that years ago I thought about switching from Teachable to Kajabi, and I decided to stay. And the reason why I thought about switching from Teachable to Kajabi was because of the layout of the actual course itself. And so even now when you go in there, you will notice there is a classic version, and then you have new course layouts where you can choose from, I believe, like 3 or 4 different designs. But before, that was not an option. Whenever you created a course, you just had the classic design and that was it. And so what I have been able to do is, using the new modern templates that they have, I went in and basically created my own like layout that looks like Kajabi. And again, if you want to know more about that, just check out my video that talks about 4 new Teachable features. I'll put it in the cards, and then that way you could check it out and you'll better understand what I'm talking about for how I was able to create the Kajabi layout in Teachable. All right, so the other con when it comes to using Teachable versus some of the other platforms is it is not an all-in-one system. So if you want to create like a membership, or if you want to do email marketing, you will have to integrate with a third-party integration for email service provider or for your membership. So for me, I actually use a Circle.so for my coaching membership, and then I use ConvertKit for my email marketing, and I'm able to easily integrate those with Teachable, which I guess you could consider a pro, that you can integrate with a lot of third-party tools so that you can efficiently run your business, but you will have to pay the separate fees for each one, versus where Kajabi, it's an all-in-one platform for everything. So last but not least, let's hop over to Thinkific, and I will share the pros and cons when it comes to using Thinkific as a course hosting platform. So when it comes to the pros of Thinkific, compared to Kajabi and Teachable, Thinkific is actually the cheaper option. Thinkific is going to be your go-to platform. In addition to this one being more affordable, it's also very easy to use. It uses a similar drag and drop method as Teachable does, so you don't have that long learning curve like you do with Kajabi. But like I mentioned before with Teachable, I started out with Thinkific. I don't even know if I used it I know I didn't use it for a whole year. I want to say I used it for maybe like 5 or 6 months and then switched over to Teachable. And the reason why I did that is because there are a lot of limitations when it comes to setting up your lessons and your modules inside of Thinkific. So if you're selling a course and it's literally like only one module and maybe like 8 lessons or less, then Thinkific is going to be very good for you. But if it's more comprehensive, you do want to have the ability to differentiate between modules versus lessons, then you are going to want to use probably Teachable or either Kajabi. So like I mentioned before, I actually switched from Thinkific to Teachable because of the way that the lessons were designed. And so as someone who has a background in workforce development, I was a training instructor, so I have a train the trainer certification, and we pay a lot of attention to instructional design. It was very important for me to have a user-friendly system to where everything made sense. So when I first started creating courses in Thinkific, I always create worksheets or workbooks that accompany any course I create. And so when I would add a video, if there was a worksheet or a checklist or something that went along with that video, I would have to have one lesson for the video and then one lesson for the worksheet. And the problem that I had with that is a lot of times people will watch the video and then they didn't realize that the next lesson was the worksheet that went with that video, right? And so people would just watch the video without the worksheet. And then when I moved the worksheet before the video, then people would just download the worksheet and go through the worksheet and didn't realize that there was a video that actually guided them through that. So hopefully that is all making sense. But that I didn't like that my students would have that confusion and that experience, which is why I switched to Teachable. With Teachable, you can put your video, your worksheet, any links, multiple videos all in one lesson. And so that whole lesson is together versus all of them having to be separate links or separate lessons inside of the course. So when it comes to cons for Thinkific, the cons would be what I just mentioned. A lot of times it causes confusion for students, and then that impacts their user experience. In addition to that, you can build your landing page or a basic website, but it's very limited and restricted to how you can actually build it out. And of course, just like Teachable, there's no email marketing. So if you want to integrate your marketing strategy, your email marketing, your sales funnels, you actually will have to integrate with third-party tools in order to achieve that and to bring all of those different components together for your marketing strategy. So those are the pros and cons of Teachable, Kajabi, and Thinkific. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any other questions about any of these platforms. Let me know if you've used any of these and what your experience was. And let me know if you have a preference. What is your favorite platform to consume courses or to create them if you are a course creator? Let me know all the tea down in the comments below this video. As always, thanks so much for stopping by my internet home. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you will be the first one to get notified each time I upload a brand new video just like this. Bye, y'all.